Since its inception in 1996, the Resident Evil series has become one of the more popular survival horrors around, even spawning its own collection of live-action film adaptations over the years. In terms of horror factor, the various releases have fluctuated with just how scary they actually are. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard feels like a true return to form. You assume the role of Ethan Winters, who drives to a mansion in Louisiana after receiving a message from his wife Mia, who has been missing for 3 years. However, Ethan does not know what horrors await him as he searches for Mia at the Baker house. The story in the game is a mystery that unravels as progress is made on the way to find and rescue Mia. You'll come to learn more and more about the Baker family and what exactly happened to them. It's interesting info that you'll learn by inspecting documents and reading journal entries which can be found dotted throughout the many areas. The game's writing remains quite consistent right until the very end, and though some of the twists are fairly predictable, it's still pretty thrilling to see them play out. The atmosphere in Resident Evil 7 is what makes the experience that much more terrifying. It feels very much as if the game has taken a page out of the book of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and added a bit of a Resident Evil spin to it. It works well, even if the portrayal of the Baker family can be a little comedic at times. The near silence you hear when moving around is made worse when hearing some odd sounds out of the blue. This constant tension is reminiscent of what the very first Resident Evil game achieved. The Baker family, who will be the first enemies you encounter, will give you a hard time from the very start as they feel nigh unstoppable. In addition, they're also the more interesting enemies you'll come across based on their personalities and also exactly how they intend to deal with you. Jack is very much an in-your-face terror kind of guy, while Marguerite likes to play a cat and mouse game with you. And the son Lucas, he's a sly one and he has a fondness for setting traps for you. The other enemies that you will encounter in the game are called the Molded, who are terrifying when first encountered but are fairly easily dealt with after the first few times you meet them. They also aren't as scary since they usually appear in the same manner each time they are encountered. However, should you rush into a situation, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, you'll find yourself getting overwhelmed in a hurry or expending too much ammunition trying to survive. There are also some big insects a little ways into the game, but these seem to act as more of a hindrance than a new enemy type. It's a little disappointing to have so few enemy types as it doesn't force you to adapt to new combat situations very often. Resident Evil 7 has quite a range of arms to make use against enemies that may put themselves in your way. However, while there are quite a few weapons, conserving ammunition is a big part of surviving whatever the game has to throw at you. This is made even more challenging thanks to you having to manage your inventory wisely. You aren't able to just go around picking up everything you see, as you might find something that you really need and then have to drop something else in order to make space for it. It's something that really adds to it feeling like a survival horror. There are a few puzzles present in the game and they're pretty interesting, but challenging they are not. It would have been nice to see some more challenging ones, but thankfully they feel right within the world and also relevant to the location. In addition, there are also some VHS tapes that can be collected, and these act as playable flashbacks of different characters. These are a nice breakaway from Ethan's long mission, but also add to the narrative at the same time. The biggest change from previous Resident Evil games is the switch to a first-person perspective, and it really works. The action is a lot closer than had it been in a third-person view, and as such, it makes it much more scary when you're making your way around the various areas. Visually, Resident Evil 7 looks amazing and is possibly one of the best looking games on PS4. The enemies' character models look great and the molded look downright disgusting. This is especially true when walking into one of their mold encrusted hallways. The various areas also make up for quite a gruesome setting with dilapidated shacks, cannibalistic feast areas and ritualistic remains. The audio in the game also enhances the experience. The characters are quite well voiced, even if Ethan does seem a little expressionless at times, and then the subtle bumps that happen during dead silence are excellently planted and the soundtrack just feels subtle enough to not be too intrusive. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is an amazing game and it truly feels like a return to form for the series. The narrative is mysterious and slowly unravels around you as you delve deeper into the story. The gameplay from a first-person perspective works really well and actually makes playing more scary due to vision being restricted. The game does fall short with regards to the sometimes comedic behavior of the Baker family and the occasional dull expression by Ethan, but thankfully it excels in other aspects. The boss fights can be a little confusing when figuring out exactly what to do, but they are quite exhilarating once you start wearing your opponent down. Resident Evil 7 truly is great and feels like a worthy entry in the series. It's definitely a good step in the direction of survival horror and a much needed step away from the action direction previous releases have been focusing on. If you enjoy this and you would like to see more, please don't forget to hit that like button, but only if you see fit. And if you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.